We have on our podcast today a special guest. This is Dr. Julius Oni. Dr. Oni and I went to Howard University Medical School,
HU.
uh, HU. Uh, Dr. Oni and I have a special bond because his story that he told. Actually, I met him again. I think it was in Las Vegas, and he said, "Hey, Dr. Jide, hey, I have a story to tell you." And he said, "I said, what story?" He said, "Do you remember when I was in medical school and we're both Africans, Nigerians, so we were, it's expensive to go to medical school in the U.S. So I had gone to I guess the financial aid office or something, and I'd shown my grades for the semester before. I said, "Hey, I have all honors, but I have no money to pay for my rest of my education." And I remember Dean Lloyd said, "Let me see what you got. Let me see your grades." And then I showed him my grades. He said, "Well, we typically don't have scholarships available for international students, but if you can keep your grades like this every semester, we will give you a one semester scholarship." And God being so good, I did that, and I was able to share that knowledge also with our guest today, Dr. Julius Oni. Dr. Julius Oni finished valedictorian of his medical school class, just like I did a couple of years before him.
Actually,
And
no,
now,
you were a genius. I wasn't. I didn't finish valedictorian. I was just one of the. I got a lot of awards, but not a lot of valedictorian.
no, well, hey, listen, man, listen. But now, Dr. Oni did his residency and all his training, fellowship, everything. Correct me if I'm wrong. From Hopkins,
No,
right?
NYU residency, Rush Fellowship, last
Oh,
9 years
wow.
of
Okay.
practice before moving Hopkins. But yeah,
Got it. Got it. Okay. So before you left to go to Nigeria, you were at
yeah,
Hopkins.
definitely.
Johns Hopkins is one of the top five medical schools in the nation, and so they had the privilege of having Dr. Oni share his knowledge over
I
there,
like.
and then Dr. Oni decided to move to Nigeria.
Yeah.
I think if you had to ask 10 surgeons that question of moving to Nigeria, I can guarantee you 10 out of 10 say, "Nah, I'm good. I'll stay right here." But Dr. Oni saw a vision, saw something that most people don't see. That is the quality of an innovator, an entrepreneur, a visionary man. So he decided to pack his bags and leave Hopkins to go to Nigeria. He's also been blessed with a lot of investment knowledge, acquisitions, partnerships. I'll let him talk about that. But welcome to the podcast, Dr. Oni. I appreciate you being here. I know you're busy. Your clinic they're waiting on you. So welcome,
Thank you so much. Thank you
Julius.
so much, Dr. Ogunseinde. It means a lot to me to be able to join you on this platform. We are brothers, we're friends,
Yes,
and you're one person that I absolutely just deeply respect your intellect and your approach to diligence and attention to detail. So I'm glad to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
absolutely. No, it's our pleasure. So we'll jump right into it. So, in terms of your transition from the US to Nigeria, let's start with that. What were the biggest unexpected challenges when you got home in terms of starting a
How
clinic?
much time do you have? I think we don't.
I have all day. You have clinic, remember?
I know. I'm the one who has to run away. But I mean, a move of this type is usually associated with a lot of challenges. No questions about it. Um, and this one was no different. I fully anticipated that it was going to be quite challenging, and I was fully ready for some of the typical challenges. One of the biggest challenges that we have on ground, for example, is the fact that there's 220 million people in Nigeria, but there's only 400 and something orthopedic surgeons. Yeah.
Wow.
So there's the vast majority of people still receive their musculoskeletal care from traditional bone setters. This is still the number one providers of musculoskeletal care in the country, period.
Wow.
So just let that sink in for a second. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so the vast majority of people in this country, when they have a musculoskeletal problem, they have a fracture, they have a joint pain, they're going to
Mhm.
traditional bone setter or traditional healer.
Is Igbobi College still there?
Ibobi is still there and still doing well, but the truth is, even Igbobi, even if you have 10 of Igbobi, you're still not
Mhm.
uh, you still
That's
not
true.
enough to serve the entire population. So, so,
That's true.
so that by itself is a challenge. Second challenge is there's still significant challenges with getting access to high quality consumables, instrumentation, and implants.
Mhm.
You know, when I was at
That
Hopkins, I had
yes.
access to like, for almost anything I would want, I had like maybe 10 options. I had to choose which one I wanted, right?
Mhm.
For
Yep.
any type of help I would get, I would probably get like four different options of people to help me with. You know,
Yep.
here, if I have one option, I'm lucky.
Mhm.
If I have two, I've probably done something to facilitate
Mhm.
the getting some. And in many cases, you have one or two, maybe if you're super lucky, maybe three options for things. But for vast majority of things, you just have an option, at least an option that you consider acceptable, right? So, and in many instances where you actually do have some options, a lot of them are like of inferior quality because
Mhm.
fortunately, um, uh, there's less focus on, because it's so price sensitive, because the vast majority of
Mhm.
people are still paying out of pocket. And, and
True.
institutions, practices, individual surgeons have to kind of make the math work, right? So because of, and in the process of doing that, they try to
Mhm.
do what the best that they can with the cheapest
Yep.
implant,
It's stuff that
instrumentation, consumables that they
yes.
need to use, and sometimes that translates to poorer and frankly more inferior
Yeah. Yeah.
items, and that could sometimes translate to downstream effects
Yeah.
on
Don't.
patient
Like yeah.
outcomes. So this was some of the challenges. So, and my decision right from the start was like, listen, I was going to make sure that I was able to deliver the same level of care that I would deliver at Hopkins, no matter what it took, and that I was going to do it on a daily basis, not compromising on quality, and not and no matter what, just doing everything that it took to not cut any corners and deliver the same outcomes. And I'm proud that 19, 20 months later, we've done over
Yeah.
150 surgeries. We've seen over 113 patients in the office,
Wow.
and we've been able to deliver the same exact outcomes, if not better than what we were delivering at Hopkins. So I'm extremely proud of that.
That's amazing. Now, let me ask you, since we're on that topic of healthcare and delivery, what is the financial model for like patients paying for their surgeries? I know in the U.S. it's insurance based and a few cash pay.
So
Uh, how is it done over
it's
there?
reversed in Nigeria. The insurance penetration in Nigeria is less than 10%. So about 10% of people have insurance. Some other people then have maybe
Hmm.
some employee-based healthcare coverage, where
Hmm.
maybe have some agreement with individual institutions to take care of them for particular, conditions. So
Hmm.
so there's some level of access there for those people, but
Yeah.
the vast majority of people in the country still don't have any type of coverage. They
Insurance.
literally
Hmm.
have to pay out of pocket
Wow.
every medical.
Ev-
It's
wow.
extremely.
Now, are there some expatriates, right? Because a lot of expatriates in Lagos. Do they have insurance through their companies, or they also pay
No, no,
cash?
no. Typically, expatriates have insurances through their company, and even if you don't take the insurance, they could always get reimbursed from their insurance if they cash
Yeah.
pay, right? So there. I
Yep.
mean, there are expatriates, there are HNIs, there are other folks that they have, executives, there are folks like that, but that's not
Hmm.
the only folks that you want to be taking care of. You know, a lot of us, we want to be able to take care of as many people as possible. Obviously, the practice has to be sustainable. We can't do this for free,
Yes.
but in a lot of ways, we've come up with like creative ways. For example, in my practice, what we do is we take a percentage
Yes.
of our profits and
Hmm.
then put it in a particular pot. And when that pot is
Okay.
now able to take care of the implants, instrumentation, facility fees, obviously I'm donating
Mhm.
my surgical fees
Yeah.
for a patient, then we take that patient from our free surgery list and then take care of them. So
Wow. So tell me about that. So you have a free surgery
yeah, yeah.
list.
So I mean, but that free surgery list is slow going. Unfortunately, those people are
Still
paying their
going. Yeah.
time a little bit, right? Other folks they can
Yeah.
pay with their money or
Yeah.
essentially accessing care quicker. But the free
Yeah.
surgery list, we just let that
Yeah.
the ONI Foundation funds kind of go
Yes.
up, and then once that gets to a certain level and it's able to cover the next patient, then we go for it, and we add them to the end of the day.
No,
It's not.
I think that's awesome. I think that's literally you're thinking about the community.
Yeah,
So you're not just thinking about profits. You're thinking about how you can give back to people that need surgery but can't afford
there's
it.
still many.
Not many people.
Trust me, there. I'm still seeing too many people that can't afford it. That I wish that we can help as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
And I still don't think this model is even the ideal, but it's something and it's some solution. I'm always open to
Yes.
learning about new models that work.
How about clinics? Like, how do they like a office
Yeah.
visit?
So
Can they afford just an office
yeah.
visit?
So my clinics are relatively straightforward, and the entry fee for that is like
Mhm.
that significant. So a vast majority, there's a
Okay.
bigger pool of people that can access the minuscule amount that is needed to like see me. So that's really not where the margins are. That's just that's just
Yeah.
it's minimal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
operational.
Yeah.
Now you're a joint surgeon. You did Rush Fellowship. I remember there's a who was that the big name starts with a P at
Burger,
it has a classification.
burger.
Burger is there, but there's another guy that maybe I don't know. He was one of the classifications.
Bobrovsky,
Yeah.
Rosenberg, there's
So
like, Jacobs, there's like Della
yeah,
Valle, there was a lot of
yes,
great guys there.
a lot of well-known joints guy. Paprosky was the one I was talking
Yep.
about. So I'm a spine guy. You're a joints guy, and God laid this on my mind because like sometimes when you're I won't say hardship, but when you're facing an uphill battle, right, and you're doing everything you're supposed to do, and still you don't feel like you're making an impact in what you want to do. God shows you other ways, like, okay, don't keep doing the same thing over and over again because that's insanity.
Absolutely.
Look at other options in terms of where you're from, and that's why I have you now as kind of like somebody I'm looking up to, like in the sense that you've taken this move, and I'm sure when you were doing this, more than 50% of people said, "What are you doing?
Yeah, most people
Why are you leaving?"
thought.
What, right? I mean, right? So
You're
the Bible thought you're taking your family, your kids. What is wrong with you?
right. I know.
But your vision, only you could see it.
Absolutely.
It's just like Jeff Bezos of the world. When they do these things, the Amazon of the world, people say, "What are you doing? No one's going to do this." But now look at them. So I see you with that in that light because you're not just in the healthcare world, you're also in the business
Thank
world.
you. Yeah, absolutely.
Like your whole body, feet, shoe, everything is in the business world. So you're like invested in that side as well as healthcare. I don't know that many people that have done this successfully, by the way.
Thank you.
So I feel like you have a good vision, and the best way is to tap into the knowledge of somebody that's been there,
Thank
and I've done
thank
that.
you.
So this is my second question with you, which is, if someone like me wants to do uh, spine surgery in Nigeria, particularly Lagos, of course, what obstacles am I looking at? I know implants is one of them, but in terms of just acceptance, resistance, just cost? Is this something feasible to do?
I mean, the truth is, we need more and more of us on ground to like truly be able to make a dent, and when we have a critical number of us, that's when we actually truly can transform societies. However, when many people, I would say hundreds of doctors have come to me with this same question from different specialties. I'm
Mhm.
interested in
Yeah.
one shape, way, or form coming down to Nigeria and doing some work. Maybe not
Hmm.
moving entirely like you did, but at least getting engaged. And to those people, I say we welcome you. We want you, absolutely. For those people that want to like do the entire move their families, move their, I am a bit more frank with them in the sense that I sit them down and I
Yeah.
tell them, listen, you have to kind of make sure that you have a solid financial base and a
Yes.
solid understanding of what your financial situation is before you just
Yes.
jump into something like this. Because obviously you
Yes.
cannot expect to make the type of salaries you were making in the US.
All right.
And
Mm-hmm.
if you depend solely on your job as a surgeon, as a doctor, to
Mm-hmm.
meet all of your needs
Mm-hmm.
to pay for your lifestyle expenses and your basic
Hmm.
expenses, you may be in for too much of a root shock. So,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
but if you, and I was fortunate to be in this bucket, if you've done some things to kind of prep yourself for, a significant amount of time of maybe a significant reduction in your in your surgical
Income.
income, and
Yeah.
then in that case, then you're ready. Because
Yeah.
then if this is what your passion is, if this is what your heart is, then it's much easier to then say, okay, I know I may not make a, a significant fraction of what I used to make in the US, but the
Mm-hmm.
next 1, 2, 3, maybe 4, maybe even 5 years, or maybe never.
Mm-hmm.
But then
But you have to be willing to go through that.
exactly.
Yep.
You have to figure out what's in it for you. For me, it's yes, I'm making like a small fraction of what I used to make in the U.S., but this is the happiest I've ever been professionally. I'm the happiest
Yeah.
I've ever been in 14 years of
Wow.
practice, right? And being
Crazy.
able to take care of Nigerian patients in Nigeria on a daily basis, seeing them come in pretty bit debilitated, in a lot of pain, and a few weeks later, walking out of my office with
Yeah.
tears of joy, elated,
Yes.
excited, their quality of life back, their pain alleviated. That just, I mean, that's you can't recreate that. That's like, and I know in my heart of hearts that the same quality that I gave them is the same I would have given them at Johns Hopkins. They got it
Right.
at a
That's
fraction of the
right.
cost, maybe 1/4 of the cost at Hopkins.
One.
Sometimes
Yes.
some
Yes.
of them don't realize it. They still think it's
Yeah.
expensive, and it is. But
Yeah.
relative to what they would have had to pay, just the raw cost
Yep.
to the institution, not the flights, not the accommodation, not the discomfort of not having your family and everything around you, but just pure
Mm-hmm.
cost. It's a big fraction. It's already priced in almost like a 75, maybe 50% discount. Period. Right.
Wow.
So for me,
Yeah.
that gives me a lot of joy and gives me a lot of satisfaction. If I never made what I made in the U.S. within medicine, I'm at peace
Mm-hmm.
with it. But I'm also at peace with it because I'm also able to supplement my income doing other things like business.
Yes.
I'm
Yeah.
able to invest in real estate, invest in startups,
Yes.
invest in other asset classes, that keeps the
Yes.
cash flow coming and keeps me kind of being
Yeah.
able to keep my lifestyle the same and
Mm-hmm.
still do the work that I love to do. So that's what I usually,
That's a good point.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a great point. You have multiple source of income, and you built that on your own. I can't. I don't even know where to start with that. That would be another Zoom call completely. But because I mean, what you have done in the investment world and the asset allocation world is
Thank you.
insane.
Thank you, brother.
Okay, and you're so humble about it. Like you're just a simple, honest,
Thank you so much.
easily approachable man. Don't change. You're doing something
Thank you,
fantastic
bro.
here. Um, let's talk about costs, like the implants. I just have two more questions, so you can go back to clinic. the cost of the implants and the source of the
Yes.
implants. I'm guessing they're mostly from the Asian market, the implants for the hip replacements and knee replacements.
In the market right now, there's a variety of implants in the market. There are some from Asian countries. There are Indian implants. There are Chinese implants. There are some from Europe,
Yeah.
really.
Okay.
Like from Spain
Okay.
and other parts. Um, and in my world, what I usually like to do is I usually want to have an implant that is either FDA approved or at least
Okay.
approved by the very strict
CE or
European
something.
body like CE approved
Yeah.
or have the ODEP rating or something along those lines, right?
Yeah.
Because I know
Mhm.
if they are
Mhm.
acceptable to be used in the UK, they are
Yes.
acceptable to be
Yes.
used in the US, then
Yep.
then I feel very comfortable using those here because then we are not
Mhm.
compromising on quality, right?
Yes. Yes.
But there are the top level implants, but then there are also
Yes.
a lot of dumps, a
Like,
lot of like poor quality implants, and in some cases, some surgeons don't notice the difference, and so therefore put
yeah.
themselves and their patients at significant risk by exploring some
Yeah.
of this cheaper but certainly
Yeah.
inferior implants, and then that sets them up for more complications down the road. Because typically the
Okay.
instrumentation is associated with those implants are cake, they're not as efficient, and this extends even to trauma surgery, not just joint replacements or spine surgery. Um, so,
Yeah.
but
Uh-huh.
but I think ultimately, it ultimately boils down to the fact that the ecosystem is very price sensitive, and
Mm-hmm.
it's for people to make it work. They tend to try to cut some corners sometimes, not on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes just because they don't know any better. But the promise of a
Yes.
practice like mine is like, listen, we will not compromise. We will not cut any corners. We are going to dot all our I's and cross all our T's and make sure that we get you through
Mm-hmm.
this nice and safely. And that's the same mandate that I give to anyone who comes into my practice to operate. That listen, we are not cutting any
Fantastic.
corners. We're going to do it the same exact way that you would have done it in the US,
Yeah.
in Germany, in Qatar, wherever you're coming
Yeah.
from. We are going to do it
Wherever
the
you're coming
exact
from.
same way. We are not going to cut any corners. And whatever it takes to do that, even if it has to be more expensive, then you just have to
More expensive.
communicate what that value
Yeah.
is to the patient. And hopefully they understand it and are willing to pay for
Yes.
it.
Is it reasonable to tell a patient, "Hey, we have three classes of implants," and I'm asking
I
because
understand.
you know
I understand what
if one is 20 million naira for the implant and surgery, and then one is 30 million for the implant and surgery. Of course, the implant is better, or it should be better, FDA approved. Um, is there a way to have a shared decision making with the patient and say, "Hey, I can do this for this price, but you have to understand the quality of the implant."
So I think it's reasonable if, only if, the cheaper implant is also
Hmm.
a minimum high quality standard. There,
Yes, it passes the
it
eye test.
gets to a certain point. Like for example, if you have three different FDA approved implants
Hmm.
that just happen to come in at different cost bases because
Hmm.
they're coming from different groups of manufacturers. But all
Hmm.
three have long-term data that supports their longevity and their
Hmm.
survivorship. Then, I mean,
Hmm.
that's reasonable in that case to be like, listen, this one just happens to be more expensive than this.
Yes.
This is supposed to be, the instrumentation is better, it's a lot slicker, it's
Hmm.
more modern
Hmm.
generation, but this one is a oldie but
Hmm.
goodie. It just happens to be cheaper. In those cases, I think it's completely okay it's like comparing a
Okay.
next gen knee to a persona
Yes,
cementless,
that's
right? So
exactly.
it's like, okay,
Yes.
next gen is the oldie but goodie, I used that
Yeah.
for 7 good years in my practice before I switched
Yes.
over to
Yes.
persona.
That's Zimmer,
Yeah,
right?
that's Zimmer. Yeah. So so if I had choices of both, I could be like, yeah, you could use the oldie but goodie, and more than happy, and it would be a significant,
Yeah.
it would be significantly cheaper. but we also use
Yeah.
the new boy on the block that is got
On,
great
yeah.
instrumentation, smooth to use. It's the best in the
Yes.
market right now. We can also do that, that type of thing. So I think
I
that's
think that's
reasonable.
fair.
But if you're comparing like inferior quality to like Spirit,
Yeah.
then I don't think it's acceptable to have that tiered pricing.
Yes, I think that's absolutely true. So okay, so let's talk about spine for a little bit, since we've, this is why we're trying to see if venturing in this direction is worth it. So we have, spine surgery. Nobody wants to have back surgery, especially in
Yeah.
Africa, because it's like even my mother. I'll be, this may be a little bit too much information, but my mother has spinal stenosis severe. So when she walks, she's leaning forward quite a bit. And I've told her, I looked at her, ordered the MRI, we looked at it. I mean, she has multi-level stenosis, and the only way she gets relief is if she leans forward, right? And I told her, I said, a simple laminectomy will get rid of this problem. My mom, uh, how should I say it? She casted out the demons and all the possible barriers before she said no. You know what I'm saying? So she was like, I would never, nobody's going to touch my back. I said, okay, that's fine. I said, but I'm telling you, in America at 83, 84, you're having a laminectomy because you want a quality of life. You want to be able to stand up better.
Absolutely.
So it's hard to sell spine surgery to people, especially Africans. Nigerians in particular are very faith, religious, and they think Jesus can fix everything. But there are some surgeries that we have developed, especially the one I developed called the PML surgery. The PML surgery is the answer to long-term back pain, especially in women that have had multiple children. So if you've had multiple children, what happens is the ligament of the SI becomes loose. Uh, Here, chiropractors make a lot of money for that. They say they adjust their pelvis and all that stuff. In Nigeria, we don't have access to that. We don't have access to
There's
chiropractors like
some
that.
some
And
chiropractors, but they few
there are some now.
just
Okay,
like joint,
that's
just
good to
like
know.
orthopedic surgeons. Yeah, but they
Okay, that's
also.
good. That's good to know. But they can't fix this. They can only adjust it. So when we developed this technique, we published it in the Journal of Clinical Spine Surgery. We published 4 case series on it, and they accepted it. They even accepted the video narration of my voice narrating the step by step of the technique. And then we got FDA clearance for the technique as well. So we've done quite a bit of stuff. We just launched our digital platform. It's called the PML Mastery app. So we had to go through Apple and Android stores and all that stuff. So we're making progress. It's an uphill battle because there's so many companies here and techniques and stuff. The good thing about this procedure is it eliminates the fear of back surgery because it's really not your back. It's where your back and your hips come together. Uh, since when I started doing SI surgery, there were only 2 companies in the world that made implants. Now there are over 75. To show you, Americans don't waste money unless there's a market there. 75 companies, right? And the beauty of the surgery is it's outpatient. It's only like 20 minutes, and we don't mess with your back. So I've done more of these surgeries than any surgeon in Texas, and I'm proud of to say that the outcomes are at least 75 to 90%. Very high success in obese patients as well. In fact, we're going to LA in 2 weeks, Brain and Spine Summit, to give 2 talks on the PML surgery. So they invited me to give to be a speaker. So I'm going to do that. So we're going around doing that. We're also hopefully with your help, see what the best way to get these implants made. We have we call it the PMLX project, and we're talking to clients here in the U.S., in China, and in Africa. So let me ask you a question about this. Do you Are there companies in Africa that you know or have heard of that make implants good quality, especially 3D printed implants?
At this point, we don't. I don't know any. To be frank with you,
Okay.
maybe they maybe in South Africa, maybe in Kenya. We probably need to do some
Yes.
research on that. But certainly, I mean,
Yes.
there will be Chinese options that probably can make high quality 3D printed implants. Maybe some European options, that we can take a look at. But I think for something like this, with SI joint dysfunction, with SI pain, this would be very helpful. And certainly having someone like you be able to like teach the technique to local surgeons, and if we do eventually are able to like make that 3D printed screw in a way
Hmm.
that is cost effective, then
Hmm.
we may be able to provide relief to hundreds, if not thousands, of people.
Yes,
And
I think it's about awareness.
exactly. So,
Once people know what they're looking for. I was at the airport one day and this lady was on the phone talking to her husband, talking about she's a firefighter. She was like, "This pain I have is still there 10 years later." And she said, "I've been to everybody." She's talking to her husband. They're both in the military. And so she got off the phone and she I said, "Ma'am, if you don't mind, tell me exactly where you hurt." And she pointed to a groin. She said, "Our hip x-rays have been negative." I said, "Do you have pain that goes down your leg?" She goes, "Yeah." She said, "Is your MRI normal?" She said, "Yeah." She's only 27. I said, "Do you have pain around your lower back on the left side?" She goes, "Absolutely." I said, "Have you ever heard of SI joint dysfunction?" She goes, "Never." She says she's been diagnosed with IT band syndrome, like impingement syndrome, FAI, all that stuff, but none of them are true. So it turns out she has SI joint dysfunction. She called her husband back and they said, "Can we come see you in Texas?" I said, "No, they live in DC." I said, "Look up a doctor in DC that does SI and go see him." And they did. So my point is, a lot of people don't even know what it
I know.
is. So it starts with teaching in Lagos, doing awareness, doing like events. I like to talk. So, I can explain those to them. And I think once they understand that this is not back surgery,
Exactly.
we are not trying to put implants in your spine. This is a quick 20-minute procedure that is fluoroscopy based, and you go home. You can drive, you can do whatever the next day.
Yeah.
So I think something like that is going to be it's going to be great because you have a vision, you're building. Tell us about your OR that you're
I
building.
mean, I'm not at liberty to say share too many details yet,
Too much.
but yeah.
Mhm.
But right now, I'm renting space within an established hospital. But in a couple of months, we're going to
Okay.
be moving to like a semi-permanent location where
Okay.
we can, we're going to have an OR, we're going to have physical therapy, we're going to have some
Wow.
therapeutic radiographic modalities, we're going to have digital
Yes.
x-rays, we're going to have a world-class place where hopefully the best of aesthetics meets the best of customer service meets the best of patient outcomes. That's the best way that I can explain it. And my hope is
Wow.
that even those of you in the US and those in the UK, Germany, wherever they are, can come home and be pretty proud of what we've been able to put together. That's my hope, that we can
Yeah.
bring the best of the best of what we represent. Like why can't we have the best in Nigeria too?
Right.
So for me, I feel like African patients deserve it, and it may be time for us to start thinking of ourselves not as having to always come second or be secondary to
Mhm.
others, but to start setting standards for what it means to deliver the best of healthcare, to deliver the best of like patient-centered healthcare. Like that's my dream. That hopefully we can set
Yeah.
some examples that hopefully other folks can look into and be like, oh, that's a bright spot over there somewhere in the depths of Lagos, Nigeria. And so yeah, so that's what we're working
Nigeria.
on. I can't wait for you to visit it, check it out, put a bit of
Yes. Right.
information
That's
in,
right.
and we can
So
take it over there.
that's awesome. Man, you've been very, very incredibly helpful.
Thank you.
This is our first like Zoom talk like this, and I think a lot more of this will be very helpful for just doctors that are nervous to come to Nigeria or that are Nigerian born, US trained, and then they see someone like you that is successful, but they also have to understand the sacrifice involved in this.
Absolutely.
This is not just you move to Nigeria and they give you this OR and this
No,
surgery. You have to
fantastic.
earn it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. That's right. And I think you're going to be a
Yeah,
great resource
thanks,
for
man.
all of
I don't
us.
think it's
Uh,
limited to the Nigerian born, US trained. I think it's limited to anyone of Nigerian origin, anyone who is sympathetic to the Nigerian cause, anyone who sees themselves like trying to make a difference where the need is greatest. I think those are the people that we are looking to collaborate with. And there's going to be an opportunity soon. I'm lucky enough to be partnering or working with some folks that are building a larger hospital, 80 bed, 70 some bed hospital, world class hospital with all the bells and whistles.
In
Gonna,
Nigeria?
yeah, yeah, in Nigeria. I'm gonna show it to
Oh,
you
wow.
when it's already getting started.
Okay.
And we're going to need all of us putting our hands together, going out there, trying to change the narrative around what is available right here at home. And all the specialties are going to be represented there. So we're going to need everyone to kind of join hands together to deliver world-class care. And I can't wait to
Mhm.
like be able to share more about that in the coming months to years, and hopefully we get the army ready, the army of doctors ready
Right.
to completely change what healthcare delivery looks
I
like in this
think,
part
I
of the
think,
world.
I think,
Absolutely.
I think we can do it. I think the vision is there. You're there. It's actually not. It's not just a vision anymore. It's actually happening now. So
Absolutely.
you're leading the charge, and there are other doctors. Dr. Onyike that started this a couple of years
Absolutely.
ago.
I have
But
my EK, I stand on his shoulders. We were working very closely together at CAS, and
yes,
and he is such an amazing human being. I love that man.
amazing man.
And
Yes.
so
So
many
he loves Nigeria so
Exactly.
much.
And there's so many other people, and you believe it or not. I just happened to be the loudmouth that started sharing when I was coming, but there's so many other people that went before me that never said anything. They just
Yes.
came on ground from the UK, from the US, from all over, and just started doing the work. And kudos to all
Yeah.
those people. People tend to say, "Oh, you're the
Yes.
face of the returning
Yeah.
doctor." I'm like, no, there's so many faces. I just
Yeah.
I don't take the responsibility lightly that people see me
Mhm.
as the kind of like
Yes.
white guy, but
Yes.
I remind everybody all the time that I stand on the shoulders of those that came before us, and hopefully we can
Yep.
leave the landscape, the ecosystem better for those that are going to come after
Mhm.
us. So that's my hope and my prayer for sure.
That's awesome. Hey, Dr. Oni, thank you so much for taking time to talk to us. I know your patients are waiting for you. Keep doing an excellent job. You are blessed. You are a good
Appreciate
man,
it.
a good friend, and hopefully we can have a follow-up talk again sometime soon. Hopefully when I
I
come
look
home,
forward to it.
I'll definitely have to find you when
No
I come
worries, no
home.
worries.
No
We can't
excuse.
wait to welcome you after all this time that you've not been back. 15 years, is that what?
That's right.
Oh my God. Yeah, we're gonna make sure you enjoy Lagos.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you, man. Have a good day, brother. I'll talk to you later.
God
Okay.
bless. Take care.
All right, guys. So this has been Dr. Oni. Exciting interview. We'll bring you more interviews like this about the diaspora surgeons trying to go back home, and I'm one of them, and I'm inspired by this man. So thank you so much. Join us next time for another great episode like this.